First review of 2025 and my first review here on YouTube in general. Dynasty Warriors Origins took me completely off guard, knocked me out, left me on the floor grasping for oxygen because this game was absolutely fantastic. So, you don't know me, so first review, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be completely subjective. I'm not gonna look for objectivity at all because I'm not a game journalist, for better or worse, better than worse. And let's get into it with the story first and foremost, which is probably the best part of this game. It was incredible. It's gonna tell the story of the three kingdoms, of course include fantasy elements as Dynasty Warriors does, but through the single protagonist, that made up character, the Wanderer, which has such incredible depth, especially after the first 10 hours of the game, in which you are gonna be taken again completely off guard by how the moment the game gets up the pace, it's gonna be so beautiful with the character, the cast of characters getting richer and richer as you progress through the story, and you have your beautiful moments, incredible cutscenes done so well. I absolutely adored it. So of the 25 points I decided to give to a story in general in my reviews, Dynasty Warriors earns a fat 20 points. And I'm not gonna go extra into the story because I want you to experience it for yourself on your skin, because it completely deserves to. And for the sponsor of this video, we have my own Discord server. Join the server to keep in touch with me and my community. You will find amazing things such as the Geometry Gang, Gooners, Gambling Addicts, Persona fans, and more. Join now for free, link in the description below. And now for the gameplay, Dynasty Warriors Origins, which is of course a Muso. It is one that evolves the genre and represents a step forward for it without betraying its roots, without trying to reinvent the wheel as some older experiments done by Koei Tecmo. Looking at you, Bowling Dynasty. Dynasty Warriors Origins does what it aims to do perfectly well. I played the game at the highest difficulty available at the very start, and it does pose a decent enough challenge, which is nothing crazy, nothing as punitive as Souls-like games. You will be able to simply retry and replay the mission if you fail, but it does pose enough of a challenge that you should consider it if you are new to the Muso genre. 9 different weapons, 9 different styles, and 9 different skill trees, and a set of different special attacks for each freaking weapon. Absolutely beautiful. I love how much the game wants you to bond with this main character, how much it wants you to make it yours and understand which combos to use and when to switch weapons and in which occasion to use what. Better in an AoE situation, better in a 1v1, or when you're fighting commanders, or when you're in the pinch of the battle. Absolutely incredible what they did gameplay wise, in the gameplay style that you can choose to. Also, when it comes to the defense of the defense package that you have available, you have a double evade, you can parry, you can block, especially in 1v1s. The advancements they made, like fights with, you know, officers like commanders, generals, and basically main characters in general, is absolutely incredible. It is when the game shows its best, it's when the game is at its best. It is when the game shows the true evolution, the true path forward for the Muso genre, in my opinion, where you have your phases of enjoying smashing this ungodly amount of enemies, and ungodly amount of husbands and brothers and sons that are never gonna see their loved ones ever again because of you. And then you go 1v1 with the big guy, with the big boss, and enjoy a battle to the last shot. I absolutely loved it. Also, when it comes to movement, you have a horse. I wish they took some liberties there, having a Wukong Nimbus, a mini dragon, a white tiger. Anything extra would have been amazing and lovely. And also in special attacks, they took so many liberties. It was so enjoyable. There's a freaking special attack. I will try and find a clip to put in the video, where you basically do a Dodon Ray from TN, from DBZ onto the enemies. Incredible. Absolutely loved it. So when it comes to gameplay, again, I don't want to go too in depth. I don't want to spoil too much for people. I hope you will enjoy this type of review, I will give of the 30 points I decided to allocate for gameplay a solid and fat 25 points for Dynasty Warriors Origins. As a Muso, it has all it needs to have, plus more, plus new amazing things that I wish and hope that Koei Tecmo is going to implement into their next installments, especially the ones for One Piece. Next, we have visuals and sound, which I want to phase and talk about together. And of the 35 points combined, I decided to allocate for these two categories. Dynasty Warriors Origins gets 25 solid points, and let me tell you why. For the visuals, this is the best a Muso has ever looked, just plain and simple. It is, of course, an easy win. It's the most recent Muso, and it's the best one ever, look-wise. The thing I love the most, though, was the art style. I think this was the perfect evolution of what we have already seen in past installments of Dynasty Warriors. This sort of realistic anime style, I like to call it, where you fuse a sort of thick lines of anime style beauty, faces, simple, barren faces, with more realistic elements of reality around the characters. The characterizations for the characters were so beautiful. Everyone was instantly recognizable. So well done. I absolutely adored it. Instead, when it comes to sound, the voice acting, I played the game fully in Japanese voice acting because that's my standard. I'm not a native English speaker, so to me they're all foreign languages anyways, so I will go with the original voice acting the producers had in mind. I don't think the English speaking gamer space was the target audience. I think the target audience were gamers in general, and probably Chinese and Japanese gamers, because they freaking love the story of the Three Kingdoms. So I decided to play with the Japanese voice acting, and they did a fucking fantastic job. Absolutely perfect. The music was so perfectly fitting. It set the mood completely. It made me go back and rewatch The Last Emperor, which is a movie from my childhood, and I connected to China greatly. One of the best movies that talks about this incredible culture, and yes, it was done so well. I loved it. Also, when it comes to sound design, I'm not a sound engineer or anything like that. It was just all perfectly mixed well. The sounds of battle were absolutely convincing, so that was totally enough for me. So again, 25 to 35 points available go to Dynasty Warriors Origin. Now, last points for the review are what I call bonus points. I asked myself these 4 questions for every game and decide to give points based on if it is a yes or a no, or if or maybe. So the 4 questions are: the first one, how is it within the genre? And as I said, this is one of the best. This poses as an evolution for the genre. It does not betray the genre at all. It actually exalts every element. If this is your first Muso, you're gonna freaking love other Muso games, try other games, and probably be disappointed, sadly. So I decided to give extra 5 points. Replayability, absolutely. Once you finish the game, you unlock a new difficulty, so you can have an extra challenge. And since the game, at some moments, I'm not gonna spoil, but you can have different choices, so multiple choices and play things, missions from different points of view. Let's leave it at that. You have a way to go back to it with a quick menu, so you can choose which specific chapter you want to replay. You don't have to go through the story, the game fresh completely. You are able to skip dialogue that you don't want to replay. So on that, it was perfectly done, as a modern game should be done, should have all these quality of life things, because people are busy and they should be able to play games however they want. So extra 5 points. Does it evolve the genre? Yes, absolutely does, especially 1v1 battles with bosses, important characters. I absolutely adored the game every time I had a battle with an important enemy, an important fight. And lastly, personal bias. Again, yes, I love Muso, I love Dynasty Warriors, I love the story of the Three Kingdoms. This had it all. I absolutely loved it. So the final score of the game, what you wanted to know, is a fat 90 out of 100. The grand total with the bonus points could be 110 in my case, but that would be just 100 plus once I review games. which means the game is beyond perfection. It is what the game had to be, had promised, had sold to me, and I wanted to give all the freaking cash to the game. So, should you buy it? Yes. Does it deserve full price? Absolutely. Final score 90. What else do you want? Everyone is enjoying it. Everyone is loving it. Again, if you have a fat backlog, this game can definitely wait for you, because now I'm gonna talk about the negatives and what I think could be a smart choice in waiting if you have, again, a backlog. Since 2025 is gonna be a pretty stacked year, as we're gonna talk about in another video. So the main negative, you cannot basically use other characters. We already knew that, of course, so the game is not lying to you or anything, but this comes as a negative, especially because the secondary characters are fucking awesome. As you get to know them through the story, as you get to use them here and there within missions for just little glances, it's like the game is teasing you, it's edging you to want to use the secondary characters, and then it's like, nope, but you cannot. So the lack of a free battle mode, an extra secondary mode where I can just enjoy and play with the secondary characters even if they're OP, broken, that's a huge missed opportunity in my opinion. And since the game is being extremely successful, especially on PC, on Steam, which is historically not where these genre of games are played, this is where basically PS3 and PS4 where the epitome of Muso, basically where Muso games had their peak basically. I hope the developers come with a free update, include free battle, or maybe even a fat substantial DLC with extra stories, and give me a reason plus to play with the secondary characters. And then the second negative point, which is something a little bit intrinsic of the Muso genre, but even more with this one, since you basically can only play with one character, so you connect to the first point, the repetitiveness. The game will absolutely get repetitive, both in combos, both in its secondary missions. So if you are not ready for that, again, if this is your first Muso in general, keep in mind this game can get repetitive. It's not too long, it's a game of about 30 to 35 hours, so in itself is going to give you the right amount of fun before it gets boring in that sense. So its repetitiveness, it is one that will not be too heavy on the player. But with that said, let me know what you think about Dynasty Warriors Origins if you played it, or if you are more convinced to buying it, or are you gonna wait for a possible update of the free battle mode version. In case you didn't get it yet, you can find a link into the description that connects to instant gaming, and that link supports me, so if you buy through my link you'll support me. But no need to do any of that. If you just enjoyed the video and watched until here, I totally appreciate you. Thank you so much, and please do mock me for my first review ever. Appreciate it. See you in the next one. Bye bye.